Larry Dolan was a good owner, and if you don't think he was, I'm sorry, you didn't know what you should have been paying attention to. All right, first, he didn't win the World Series, and I get it. That's why they are there. Nobody has won the World Series here since 1948. So if that's your standard, then you must think every owner the club has had since 48 has stunk. You must also think every other owner in every other sport that has never won a title is a bad owner. If that's your standard and you're consistent with it, fine. I kind of live in a gray area sometimes, and I think the Dolans have done a good job. People talk about the payroll. Listen, they have behaved mostly like most other small and mid-market clubs behave. I don't know why some people thought they should spend like the Yankees and Dodgers. That never made sense to me. Dick Jacobs didn't do that. He sold the team because things were starting to get out of whack. Don't believe me? Read that book. Terry Pluto wrote this like 20 years ago. It's still relevant. I've had so many people that said, I didn't understand why the Jacobs did things differently than Dolan. Well, they read the book. Everyone I've ever got to read that book, it's 20 years old, doesn't matter, it's still relevant. Everyone I've ever got to read that book said, oh, I learned a lot. Yeah, you'll learn a lot. Larry Dolan's ownership of the club was highly respected by most people in Major League Baseball. They're a very well-run organization. They're a respected organization. People come to the Guardians to hire guys out of their front office to run their teams. I'm sorry, that doesn't happen to bad organizations and bad teams. That's just not the way it works. There is a myth about Larry Dolan that absolutely has to be debunked because this drives me nuts. This is just a straight-up lie. Somewhere along the way, this narrative was created that the Dolans said, when you come to watch a bad team, we'll pay for a good one. He never said it. This was talked about many, many years by sports talk show hosts and probably some columnists and things. It was embarrassingly stupid. And if you think he said that, I'm sorry, I didn't see you in the room. I was in the room. I was in the room when he said it more than once. Here is what he said. He said, if we put a good product on the field, fans will come and finances will take care of themselves. And somehow that got turned into, when fans come, finances will take care of themselves. He said fans will come if they put a good product on the field. Now, actually, they put good products on the field and fans didn't come. That's a separate conversation. But he never told this fan base, I'll spend money on a good team when you come watch a bad one. He never said that. It's a lie. It's a myth. It's been out there for years. I think some people still believe it. It's completely ridiculous. I have a recording of it somewhere on a mini disc in my house. I couldn't dig up the mini disc and the mini disc player on short notice. He actually said it more than once. I heard him say it more than once. Larry Dolan's Indians, now Guardians, won a lot of games. They've won the third most games in the last 12 years in baseball. I'm sorry, bad organizations don't do that. They've had executives of the year. They've had managers of the year. They've had Cy Young winners. They have a slew of all-stars. They hosted an all-star game. They've done everything but win the World Series, which is exactly what every other owner has done, not win the World Series here. By the way, they're super charitable, and I know a lot of times people don't always want to hear about that stuff because I know, ownerships and teams, they always give money. But there's one thing that's been very cool that they've done. I don't know how many people know about this. Cleveland Public Schools many years ago would have cut baseball and softball because they just couldn't afford it. And the ball club stepped in and said, don't do that, we'll pay for it. That wasn't a one-year thing. They're still doing it. I just checked. I talked to somebody in the organization today. I said, are you guys still paying for Cleveland Public Schools to have baseball and softball? Yeah, they're still doing it. They've done it without question every year. It's been probably going on for 10, 15 years. The Dolans just picked that up. And I know every ownership group of every team gives money, but that's just something really cool on top of all the other charitable stuff they have done. So Larry Dolan has run a well-respected organization that's won a lot of games and just hasn't won a World Series. He was a good owner.